Hey guys, this is Garrett McLaughlin. Welcome back to video two, where I talk about rib cage position as it relates to the lumbar spine. Again, in that last video, what I talked about is people going through the Romanian deadlift, and as they come up, they're really extending the spine and opening the rib cage. Again, if you had difficulty really firing the abdominals and obliques here to pull the rib cage down and to maintain a good position there, what I want you to do is actually take a step back. Typically, we don't want to force something like that. We need to teach the body how to do it properly and do it on its own. So we don't want to force and overthink things. We can teach the body how to do it reflexively. So first movement, what I want to work on here is the wall dead bug. So if you're against the wall, we're going to lay flat on our backs. Head is really close to the wall here. So you're going to push and place pressure into the wall. So I'm pushing pretty strong here. It's not just a light pressure. So as I push into the wall, I'm going to lift my legs up. So if you notice with and without the pressure, you'll notice a greater degree of firing through the core. So by creating stability through the shoulders and upper extremity, we can get the core to contract and fire more reflexively. So what we're going to do is press into the wall. We're going to try to, again, notice here, if we notice that rib cage is not pulling down already, which it typically should do on its own, then those abs and the obliques will fire to pull that rib cage down. All we're going to do is go through a comfortable, again, kind of a heel tap on the ground here to this dead bug motion, keeping pressure, nice, slow, and controlled. Again, without even thinking anything, I feel the abs pulling the rib cage down. This is a very good exercise and a good starting point to help teach that anti-extension movement. You'll notice that the rib cage will pull down, that back will flatten out as we keep a nice pressure through there. As we get that down, what we want to do is get out of the weight-bearing position for the Romanian deadlift. A very good exercise, one that I've done videos on in the past, is what's called the side bridge. The side bridge is pretty much like a hip hinge, but from a side lying or kind of a side plank position. So if we're in that side position here, what we're going to do is set up similarly to the side plank, but we're going to bend the knees. So the outside of the knee is on the ground. We're going to push our arm to push ourselves up higher. Our ankles, hips, and shoulders are in a nice straight line. As I come up, obviously you can see I'm in a bent position here. So I'm going to come up and drive the hips forward. So the knees, hips, and shoulders are in a straight line right here. That's where you get the hip hinging position. But while I do that, I still want to focus through that anterior core to prevent the extension and the arching at the lumbar spine, to really pull that rib cage down to keep myself in a good position. So from here, I'm already firing. Abs, pulling the rib cage down. I'm not extending my back. And then I'm going to drive my hips up and forward. That's where you get the hip hinge, the extension through the hips. Knees, hips, shoulders are in a nice straight line. And then I'm going to sit back and down. Hips up and forward. Drive, really squeeze the glutes. Sit back and down. So the side bridge is the second exercise there. Work on that wall dead bug, get that down, get that rib cage position to really fire, preventing the arching at the low back. Once we do that, go into the side bridge, put yourself in more of a gravity affected position there to really work on driving the hips forward while maintaining a nice stable lumbar spine, because we're controlling the ribs. And then from there, go ahead, go back to the Romanian deadlift. See if you can put this back into the movement itself now that you learned how to control this position, and you should have a more effective movement. Thank you guys. Let me know if you have any questions.